Uganda's Electoral Commission has declared President Yoweri Museveni the winner of a seventh term, extending his nearly four-decade rule. His main challenger, pop star turned politician Bobi Wine, has rejected the results, alleging widespread fraud. Protests have broken out in parts of Kampala, and internet services are now only being partially restored, with social media still blocked. More on the situation on the ground, we're joined by Channel Africa's Kampala-based reporter Mike Arereng. Mike, good morning. How are you this morning?
Very good morning to you, Asanda, and your colleague, Peter Doro of the mighty Channel Africa.
So please set the scene for us in terms of what you're seeing happening in Kampala. How are Ugandans responding to this win by Museveni?
Well, there is a mixed reaction. Some people are supporting President Yoweri Museveni, while others are not supporting the results which were announced by the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Justin Kama. Finally, the results for the presidential and parliamentary elections in Uganda have been announced officially by the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Justin Bakama, the incumbent President Yoweri Museveni, who will, on 26 January 2026, will be marking 40 years since he came to power, won again with 7,946,000 votes against Robert Chagulani of the National Unity Platform, who only got 2,741,000 votes. It was a big gap between the two contestants. President Yoweri Museveni won greatly in all the 155 districts, and also aspiring members of parliament from the ruling party won quite impressively in most of the districts here in Uganda. Total seats in parliament for the National Unity Platform secured only 48 parliamentary seats, while Uganda People's Congress Party secured only 10. Forum for Democratic Party got only 10 seats. President Museveni, who first took power in January 1986, has ruled Uganda for nearly 40 years, making him one of Africa's longest-serving leaders. Other than that, he has actually repeatedly won elections that opposition parties and international observers have criticized for irregularities, intimidation, and the misuse of state security forces.
So as you've given us that breakdown of the final results, the percentages and seats that the candidates received, what does that tell us about voter support across the country?
Well, most of the elderly people and most of the middle-aged people voted for President Yoweri Museveni. And remember, in 2021, most of the Ugandans, especially in the Uganda region, they did support Bobi Wine. But there has been a very big change, especially during the rallies. President Yoweri Museveni visited twice some districts just to try to appeal to the people to vote for the ruling party. And actually he succeeded in doing that. But in some places like Kampala district, there was also that fear because of the security which was built up. There was too much, so there were so many soldiers who actually were deployed in Kampala city, and this made most of the people to have that fear of going to cast their votes in the polling stations.
The President Museveni, during his acceptance speech, or no, let me rather say his celebratory speech to his supporters, mentioned that around 10 million voters did not show up. Is that same reason that you've given us what could have led to those 10 million people not coming out to vote?
Yeah, that one attributed actually a lot because, as I said, most of the people decided to remain indoors. Because even in my home village, there were gunshots. I remember after casting my vote, when time came for when time came for the results of the vote counting, there was a scuffle between one of the deputy ministers, Diana, and one of the candidates from the opposition party. And actually, the opposition had won, but later on, there were gunshots, and this made the people run away, including myself. And later on, we were made to understand that the candidate from the ruling party is the one who was declared the winner. So this kind of conflicts which had happened in so many polling stations actually caused a rift. And I can say that about 10 people have lost their lives in some parts of the country. And 300 people have been arrested so far.
Internet access as well. The internet services are partially back. They were completely shut down last week, but social media is still blocked. So how is that affecting communication?
Well, it is still affecting the people, and more especially, you couldn't actually do money transaction using the mobile phone. But right now, as I speak, it's only Facebook, and in fact, even Facebook is not back. It is still not working, and I can say that it's only other platform which are working. But apparently, TikTok, it's only WhatsApp which is working, but TikTok so far is not working. And most of Ugandans prefer using the TikTok in order to send information from one part of the country to another. So at this particular moment, it is still tense, and even business is back to normal. But the internet is affecting most of the people here in Uganda because it is actually very slow, and going through the internet is actually a problem.
Opposition leader Bobi Wine, his whereabouts remain unclear. He issued a video statement saying that he narrowly escaped security forces and had to flee his home. Do you know where he is?
Until now, we don't know where he is, but according to some information we got, is that there was a chopper which came to his residence outside Kampala city, and that he was actually forced to board the chopper. And up to now, the whereabouts of Bobi Wine is not yet known. But the last word he said that people should come out to the streets and demand proper results, because they say that the results which were announced by the chairman of the Electoral Commission were not real. They were fake news. So he said that was the last statement we had from him. But up to now, we don't know his whereabouts.
So then, as we look ahead, what do people expect to happen from now on? As you say, the opposition party side of things are calling for their supporters to take to the streets. So do we expect more demonstrations? And also on the legal challenge side, what could be done there?
Anything can happen between now and later on. But as I said, the situation now is not back to normal, though they still fear. The ruling party, National Resistance Movement, has lined up more than 40 lawyers to defend President Museveni's victory during his campaign rallies. Robert Chagulanyi appealed to Ugandans to go to the streets in case President Museveni steals the votes. But we don't know whether Chagulanyi will go to the courts and open up a case against President Museveni. We're still waiting for that. But elections are still going on. Elections for the local government are still going on this week until 4th of February. So we are still expecting more violence, especially from supporters of the opposition, because they are also contesting in some of the elections, like mayor, chairman of local council, and so many other positions which needs to be filled. So we are still in campaign period, and we are yet to witness more and more scuffles between supporters of the ruling party and the supporters of the opposition. But the situation is now calm, and it's actually the game is over, and the people have returned back to their business, and business is back to normal.
All right, Mike, thank you so much for this update. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Our pleasure. Mike Arering is our reporter in Kampala, Uganda, giving us the latest in terms of what's happening with results from the elections that took place in that country last week, Thursday.
Africa Update.